The starless void of the narrow expanse was a place where even light feared to wander. No ships entered it willingly, and those who did were rarely heard from again. Yet it was here, amid the oppressive silence and the debris of shattered colossi, that Susan Cade, chief xenologist of the Allied coalition, found herself staring at the remains of what had once been a fleet. Dozens of vessels drifted lifelessly, their hulls torn open like ancient bones picked clean. Fires could not burn in space, but the raw edges still glowed faintly, as if the destruction were recent. Susan pressed a hand to the viewport glass, her breath catching. They didn't even have time to send a distress call, she whispered. Beside her, Commander Evan Hale, stoic yet simmering with contained fury, tightened his jaw. Even in the dim bridge lighting, the scars along his forearm glinted, memories of battles he rarely spoke of. "We're not alone," he said quietly. "This wasn't a natural event. Something did this." Susan swallowed. Something powerful. The Astra Verum, their research and reconnaissance cruiser, drifted deeper into the graveyard. Silence wrapped around them like a cold shroud. Their sensors flickered with static, unable to form clear images, as though an invisible hand smothered every scan. Then the comms crackled. A voice, fragmented, mechanical, terrified, broke through. "To any surviving vessels, do not enter the expanse. Enemy unidentified. Consumes hull, devours." The message disintegrated into static shrieks. Susan felt her stomach twist. "What kind of enemy devours hull?" Evan didn't answer. He didn't need to. The two of them had already guessed. Something alive. Something vast. Something hunting. The thing in the void. Hours passed as they continued surveying the ruins. The crew grew increasingly silent. The dread was a living thing, slithering through the corridors. At last, while scanning the corpse of a colossal battleship, Susan stiffened. "Evan," her voice was barely audible. "Something's moving, between the wreckage." He rushed to her console. The holoscreen flickered, resolving into a shape, long, black, flowing like liquid metal. Its surface pulsed with faint blue arteries, as if it were breathing. "It's not debris," Susan whispered. "It's feeding." The creature, if it could be called that, latched onto the broken hull of a cruiser. Metal groaned and folded inward as if being melted and absorbed. The thing grew larger. Evan inhaled sharply. "A biomass hull hybrid, a predator that consumes technology. And it's evolving," Susan said, horror dawning. "Every ship it devours makes it stronger." As if hearing her, the creature's amorphous form shifted. A dark tendril extended and pointed toward the Astra Verum. Its movements sharpened. "Evan," she whispered. "It sees us." The creature lunged. The death of hope alarms screamed across the ship as the living void surged toward them with impossible speed. The creature slammed into the starboard shields, sending the ship tumbling. Panels exploded, lights flickered out, and the hull shrieked under the pressure. "Shields at 20%, a crewman cried. "Divert auxiliary power," Evan ordered, gripping the arm of Susan's chair to steady himself. But the creature was relentless. It slammed them again and again. Each strike grew more powerful, more deliberate. The bridge quaked. Smoke filled the air. "We can't win this," Susan muttered, trembling. "We're a recon ship. We're not armed for this kind of fight." Evan didn't argue. He only stared at the approaching creature as it coiled around their vessel, preparing to crush them. Then, almost too softly to hear, he said, "I'm sorry, Susan." She looked at him, eyes wide, her heart shattering at the resignation in his voice. Outside the viewport, the predator opened what appeared to be a mouth. Rows of shifting, saw-like structures gleaming hungrily. The hull groaned, the deck tilted, and for a moment, all hope died. The light in the dark, Then the universe changed. A brilliant white flare tore through the blackness. The creature recoiled, shrieking silently in frequencies that cracked sensor readings. Susan shielded her eyes. Evan stood motionless. From the abyss behind them, a silhouette emerged. Massive, angular, human. A warship, one long thought lost, belonging to no current fleet registry. Its hull bore the ancient crest of pre-coalition Earth, an eagle grasping twin stars. Susan gasped. That's impossible. That ship it's from the Exodus era. It's nearly 3 centuries old. It shouldn't be here, Evan said, awe filling his voice. But it is. The unknown warship glided forward, engines glowing with a power no human ship had ever wielded. Its hull hummed with energy signatures that defied every known technology. A voice thundered across open comms, strong, resonant, unmistakably human. Unidentified coalition cruiser, stand by. The UHS Vanguard Eternum is here. A pause. And we never left our own behind. Susan's breath stopped. Evan whispered, HFY? Humanity, Yeah. The Vanguard Eternum. The living creature launched itself at the Vanguard Eternum. But this time, the predator was not the hunter. The ancient warship unleashed a beam of pure, incandescent energy, something between a particle lance and a directed singularity field. It sliced through the creature's biomass effortlessly, vaporizing entire sections. The creature writhed violently. Susan watched, speechless. That's impossible. No ship has that kind of firepower. It does, Evan said, because humans build miracles when they're desperate. The creature attempted to flee, but the Vanguard Eternum fired again, unleashing a storm of shimmering projectiles that tore through the void like celestial arrows. In seconds, the once invincible void predator dissolved into glittering dust. Silence returned to the Nara expanse. The legacy of humanity. The comms crackled once more. This is Admiral Rourke, commanding the Vanguard Eternum. We have been in the expanse for 317 years, trapped, fighting, surviving. We sensed the creature's growth and knew it would threaten humanity eventually. A breath. But we endured, because humans endure. Susan felt tears sting her eyes. Evan closed his fist over his heart. The Admiral continued, Prepare for evacuation and docking. You're safe now. Humanity answers every call, no matter how long it takes. The bridge crew of the Astra Verum erupted into relieved sobs and laughter. But Susan looked at Evan, her voice trembling. They came for us. After all this time, they came. Evan smiled softly, a rare, unguarded smile. That's humanity, Susan. We don't let the darkness win. Outside the viewport, the Vanguard Eternum shone like a star reborn, an impossible beacon of human resilience and defiance. And for the first time since entering the expanse, they felt hope again.